So before I start the video, I want to remind you guys that I have a graphic novel series that I published. We got White Taiki Volume 1 and 2 available on the market, Amazon, Book Depository, Barnes & Noble, you name it, it's probably there. So go check it out, Amazon link is in the description below. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy this video. Hey, what's up guys, this is Tristan, and welcome back to another crazy episode of Manga Debate. Now, for this episode, I actually let you guys choose. I posted a poll on the YouTube community section saying you lucky fellas get to decide my next video with the shocked emoji. And this was a close one. Out of the two options, it was a Strawberry 100% review or this video, and ooh-wee, this was just neck and neck. The Strawberry 100% review had a whopping, and get ready for this, 8%. And this video, Manga Debate Berserk versus Vinland Saga, had an outstanding 92%. So yeah, it was definitely neck and neck. I mean, I wasn't sure who was going to win, but wow, this was quite the crazy close poll. I also want to add that I was shaving a few minutes before recording this video to get nice and clean cut and presentable, and I did get a little bit of a cut there in the process because I do have some butterfingers. Also, I'm going to be hitting the gym later. I'm going to be getting humongous. I'm going to be hitting a new max bench of 180 possibly. Not to flex, but no days off.
Come on, Flex fans! Let's work hard!
Anyways, guys, though, I'm going to have to pardon my French here, but without further ado, let's get into this and see who's going to get the big hitter Manga Debate T-Dog approved trophy. So starting off, talking about the story for Berserk. Berserk is basically about this guy named Guts, and it starts off him just being born out of a dead body, and he's taken in by a bunch of different groups. He goes from group to group, not really having a place to go until he finds the Band of the Hawk, and that's pretty much what the Golden Age arc is about. But as the series goes down and as some things unfold, Guts and his former best friend, Griffith, become really far apart from each other, and Griffith becomes the main antagonist of the series. And it's not even really a spoiler because Griffith is shown as the main antagonist in like volume 3, so yeah, it's pretty early on, and then it later goes back in the Golden Age arc. I think one of the best parts about Berserk's story are the themes, because Guts is a very standoffish person. He covers himself in black clothing and weapons because he literally has a curse mark on the back of his neck that attracts demons. So a lot of the people who gets close to him end up dying. And that's not something that Guts wants to have the burden of, because since he was born, he's seen every bad thing imaginable, and I'm not even exaggerating that. And Guts' progression in the series is just incredible. He starts off being this guy who's lonely, and he doesn't have a place to go, and he's taken in by the Band of the Hawk, and he becomes so close to them that he's almost part of their family. And as the series goes on, he kind of becomes this old, pessimistic Guts who just wants nothing but to kill the demons around him, and it just makes for such a great story. On the other side of things, with Vinland Saga, this is a series about Vikings, about the European slave trade, about the monarchies going on at the time, but it's mainly a character story about a guy named Thorfinn. And in the beginning of the series, Thorfinn starts off being a very hopeful kid, and then he sees his dad being shot down with arrows in front of him, and after this, he goes on the path of revenge against a man named Askeladd, who he kind of goes under his side until he has the right opportunity to kill him. Now, Vinland Saga definitely explores a lot more than just that, but I don't really want to talk about too much more about the series except for the prologue, because it's pretty easy to spoil it if I'm not careful. And just like Berserk, Vinland Saga has some incredible themes. Dare I say, better than Berserk. And that might be a hot take to some people, but if you've read Vinland Saga, especially the farm arc, ooh-wee. Oh man, the farm arc is my favorite arc in all of manga, and it's a masterpiece. I mean, it hits on every note that a perfect manga arc should be in an amazing series, and it explores some of the most personable and nuanced themes I've ever seen in a manga, and I don't really want to talk about all these themes in depth because that would kind of spoil Thorfinn's journey, but I'm just going to leave it at that for now. Incredible stuff, but the winner of this category is none other than Vinland Saga. So the characters for Berserk are pretty great. I think that Guts, Casca, Griffith, the main three, they're pretty great. I talk about them in some of my other videos about Berserk. Berserk is one of those manga series that has a very large revolving cast of characters. To some extent, the main three stick there pretty much the whole series, and then there's a lot of others that kind of rotate, kind of come in and out. But overall, there are a lot of great characters. I think the King, Princess Charlotte, I really like their stories. The entire Band of the Hawk is actually a really strong cast of characters. I think Pippin, Ricker, the list just goes on, and they really make the dynamic of that group interesting. I feel like if those characters were just throwaway characters, that group wouldn't be interesting at all, but it adds a lot of weight to the Golden Age arc based on just how great they are. And on the other side of things, with Vinland Saga, there is such a great cast of characters. You've got Thorfinn, Thorkel, Askeladdin, Canute, and may I remind you that Leif Erikson is a character in this manga.
Hey everybody, it's Leif Erikson Day!
One of the things that I really find interesting about Vinland Saga is a lot of the characters in the series were actually either based on Nordic folktales, or they were just based on actual people in those areas. And I found that super interesting. I'm quite the history buff myself, to some extent, and I think it's kind of interesting to see these characters portrayed in a manga. And it just makes the manga that much better, because it's kind of interesting to see all these references, and it seems like it's something that could actually happen, and it's not really too far-fetched from reality. So the big winner chicken dinner of this category is none other than Vinland Saga again. But anyways, this brings us to the third and final category. Now, I usually like to set the third round as kind of a tiebreaker round in these manga debate episodes, but YouTube is a cutthroat industry these days. I wasn't invited to VidCon. I was kicked out of the YouTube Rewind 2019 because the T-Dog fanbase was just too crazy. But I gotta be changing things up if I want to be racking in a whopping 5 likes. So, in short, let's get to talking about the artwork. So, the artwork for Berserk is great. It's very heavily inked, there's a lot of crazy line work going on, and it really just amplifies how crazy and dark and messed up the series can get at times, and it really is a great job of supporting the setting and tone of the manga. But if I'm being completely honest, I think the character designs aren't my favorite type of character looks, and I'm not saying that's a hate on Berserk, because Berserk's one of my favorite manga of all time. It's definitely in my top 2, not gonna spoil the result of this video, even though you probably already know what it is. I think the character designs for Berserk look very good, but it doesn't really hit for me the same way it does for some other people. But on the other side of things, with Vinland Saga, the character designs are probably some of my all-time favorite character designs in manga. And it's just great. It's not too anime style-ish. I think that it really supports the tone and sort of realistic setting of it. And even though the Vinland Saga art style starts off a little bit shaky at times, that really picks up and gets a lot more detailed as the manga goes on. And I think this largely has to do with the release dates, because when the manga started off, Yukimura was just churning out these chapters one after the other, but then as the manga went on, the release dates slowed down, and he had a lot more time to really put more detail in. And even though the backgrounds aren't always as detailed and crazy as Berserk, I feel like overall I just prefer the Vinland Saga artwork more than Berserk, and it might be my favorite art in all of manga, even though that's a big claim. So overall, the big winner of category number 3, and just the big winner overall, is Vinland Saga. And I'm not saying that to disrespect Berserk, that it didn't get any W's, but Vinland Saga is just so high up there in terms of manga quality that it pretty much just trumps most other manga in most categories. So yeah, that's pretty much how things go. So in conclusion, Vinland Saga gets the big hitter, T-Dog approved trophy. And with all that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Let's aim for a whopping 6 likes. And I will see you guys in the next video.